Welcome back, everybody, to another week of Game Wisdom Live. This will be for the week of April 27th, 2017, and my goodness, it has been one of those weeks, highs and lows. But before I get to that, we have James back on. Hey, James, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty good actually. Yep.
Mm,
I got
eh,
some of my teeth taken out a little bit,
ooh.
so I had a surgery last weekend. So
Are you
you
feeling
hear me?
any better?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, my gums are still a little sore. I gotta
Mm.
wait for my new ones to come in and stuff. But if you guys hear me start sounding like that kid from Stranger Things, and that's why.
Well, for me, fortunately, it hasn't been anything surgery related, but definitely some highs and lows in terms of the site and everything that's been happening. So, first, if you missed the announcement, my Sony account got hacked Tuesday night. I got an alert telling me that someone decided to charge $50 to my PayPal, and I could no longer access my PSN, which meant not being able to do anything from playing
Mm,
Persona, achievements, and all that.
wow.
Melgor was saying the kid from Stranger Things rock.
Uh,
And it took about 2 days of dealing with Sony. Basically, I set this account up so long ago that I don't remember any security verification on it. And they don't have the means of changing it. Even though they know who I am, I could prove everything about it, but I can't change the verification that I set up like PlayStation 3, maybe a little bit earlier than that. So maybe, what are we like talking like 10 years ago at this
oh
point?
yeah, yeah. It's gotta be a while.
Eh.
PlayStation 3.
And then thankfully, I kept, because I have my family basically are part hoarders. I think I kept my old credit card before I got a new credit card that had is what I used to make a purchase from the PSN to prove who I was. So they were able to start the process of turning the account off and giving me access to it again. Oh boy, so now I'm waiting instead of 24 to 40 hours from yesterday that I'll be able to hopefully get back into the account, put on everyone's favorite two-step authentication, and hopefully get that going from this point forward. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was something I also obviously I changed my PayPal password, but that's why I switched to PayPal instead of credit cards. Because if I had my old credit card on the account, I would have to certainly get that turned off and all that. But PayPal's already, I hope they should be refunding the $50 they took from me. So at least that's going forward on that front. Let's see other news. We have a new Patreon supporter. We're now officially at $50 a month, and we're halfway to our first goal. So thank you to our new Patreon, and hopefully more of you will hopefully subscribe in the coming weeks or months. And for you folks watching this on Twitch right now, in a bit of exciting news, Twitch has given me access to their affiliate program, the new thing that they launch, which means that the channel is now set up for cheering, which is that thing that everyone on Twitch has been talking about. You can give bits or something, you get like messages in the Twitch channel, you get like little icons next to your name, and all that other stuff. At this point, I think it should either be up or it should be very, very soon. Simply because I did all the authentication, all the tax stuff, and they said it's all set. So I have no idea how it works, but we'll see what happens. And hi Harry, thanks for joining us on the Twitch stream tonight. And some more news. As you remember, we did a podcast with Yacht Club Games about 2 weeks ago. We talked about Shovel Knight and the history of it. And they told me that I couldn't find a Shovel Knight amiibo anymore. They were sold out. Well, guess what I did, Yacht Club? Who's laughing now? Here we go. There's the Shovel Knight amiibo for you. So now that I've done my end of the deal, I hereby request they make a Terrapin amiibo, and that they should send that to me post haste. And ideally, how about just send me amiibos of all the knights? That would be great. We're gonna have them all stacked up behind me. But who knows? Someone get the word out to Yacht Club about that. And James and I were talking just before the cast. We really need to get those guys back on at some point.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, definitely. They were a lot of fun.
Hmm. We've, as a really weird thing, we've talked. I'm pretty sure I talked to them both, the two guys we had on, like, verse time. And then after that, it's always been David D'Angelo, the third co founder. So we've never had all three of them together for a single cast. So I'm hoping that we can get that at some point.
Yeah,
And
that'd be cool.
hi, Glasgow, thanks for coming on too. Yeah, so I got it from Best Buy over there. I was trying to get a NES Classic, but I think they are, gone to the ether at this point. They've left our world. I don't think we're going to be getting more of those. I asked the guys, like, yeah, we got 12 of them in. They were sold out in an hour. And
Wow.
after doing the whole crazy waking up early in the morning to get Amiibo, I'm done with that part of my life. What about you, James? Are you going?
Uh,
Have you done any like morning or like late night grabbing of games?
I go to some openings or to some late night games. I did for Sun and Moon. That was actually one of my first in like a long time. Uh, I went to a late night opening for Sun and Moon. So I hadn't played a Pokemon game in like a bit, and I was like, you know what, I want to try this out. And like it was kind of cool to just kind of jump back into the series, the franchise. So.
Cool. The last time I did a late night or early morning, other than the Amiibos I got, oh man, I think I did a late night when I bought a Smash Brothers for the Wii U. I was there like at midnight at GameStop for that. But yeah, ever since we went to digital, that's been my way. The
Hmm.
comfort of the home. I just have to preload and then I'm ready.
Hmm.
Questions in chat. What toys you got? Other than the amiibo, just collector's editions. No, nothing anime related, sadly. Or thankfully, I don't think my family would. I don't want to have them ask those questions about some of the crazy anime toys out there.
There are a lot.
Hmm. Let's see. Other than that, at least in terms of like news around here, next Friday I'm going to be doing another live presentation. This is the second one that I have booked. Mini action figures. No, nothing like that. I got another live presentation scheduled for a library. I'm going to be giving a different talk there. And this is going to be the last one that I have scheduled right now. This is like our way of testing to see if they like me. So ideally, once this one's over, they will be able to we can start scheduling things more on a routine basis. The one that I did about 2 weeks ago, they really loved me there, so ideally this one will also go as well. But yeah, we're still trying to get more presentations going. I know, James, you've been reaching out to a few places around you, and
Still waiting to hear back too. So.
yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to announce more of those in the coming weeks.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be awesome. Spread the Game Wisdom brand, huh?
Hmm. We also need to think about getting new business cards too. Now that we're over 1,500 subscribers, and as
Hmm.
of tonight, we are closing in on 1,700 on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
not
Uh,
bad.
moving on to almost the 2000s, man.
Hmm.
There you go.
So with that said, I think let's get to some news that's been happening this week. And the first thing that I got that I am really excited about is Julian Gollop, the creator of the original XCOM, is now working on a spiritual successor to that called Phoenix Point. And
Hmm.
he's currently having a Fig campaign for it.
What's that fig campaign?
Fig is another crowdfunding option. It was set up by Double Fine and stuff along those lines. And it's basically a way for you to not only donate through pledging, but you can also invest in the game. So you earn, proceeds of what the game sells. But you have to
Hmm.
pledge a lot, or you have to invest a lot in order for your amount to count. So, like, here it is. So basically, if you want to invest in the game, you have to spend at minimum $500 to per
Wow.
share, and then you can. So basically, you're going to receive a proceeds of whatever gets sold on Phoenix Point going forward. So this is for the people with the big bucks to spend. and you
Uh-huh.
can spend at most. I'm looking on their FIG campaign right now. You can spend as most as $500,000. I don't think we're going to be investing that much
Yeah, no.
in it as well. Looks like we got some very interesting chat going on. Guys, I would like to keep things at least somewhat PG-13 if possible. So if you can keep things a little bit clean, that would be great. And I will be clearing the chat for that. All right. So, with that said, getting back to the game, so they are planning on doing the Fig campaign instead of Kickstarter, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting to me. And right now, they're actually really damn close. As of this stream, they are at $420,000 funded of their $500,000 goal, and
Oh,
they still
wow.
have 40 days left for their campaign. So
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be very big for them. If I think ideally this is going to be a big deal for them in terms of funding, and I'm really hoping we get some interesting stretch goals. The big market point for the game is that they're going to use a way of procedurally generating the enemies in the game instead of just having standard aliens like in XCOM. So
Mm-hmm.
the aliens are going to be procedurally built around like different parts, different structures, and that
Mm.
determines their stats, what abilities they have, and
Yeah.
so on.
That could be kind of interesting, actually.
hmm And the idea is that if you try to do X, they're going to evolve to counter X. That kind of thing.
Huh. Well, I mean, my question would be, wouldn't there be kind of like a magnum opus point where
hmm
they just kind of continue to out evolve you or like
That's what some of my friends and I were talking about on one of the forums. That it's going to be one of those, I think, make it or break it. Because if you make it
uh-huh.
too powerful, then how's the player supposed to adjust? But if you don't make it powerful enough, then it's going to be like little ho hum, enemy does +1 damage against your armor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another thing that I really like, I'm looking at their campaign as I'm talking, is their thing about having boss battles in a turn-based strategy game with like extra
Huh.
large monsters. So you have to do like targeting specific parts of the enemy in order to like turn off a special ability or weaken them. And that I find very interesting because it's very different to have like boss battles in a turn-based strategy game.
Uh-huh.
Because typically it's army versus army. I was thinking the closest I could think about this would be what they did with XCOM 2 with um, the alien elites that they added in with either the first or second expansion. That they threw in these special enemies who would just like pop into a level all of a sudden to mess with you, and you can kill them. You get like unique. You can create like a unique weapon or unique piece of gear to help your guys out.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds
Yeah.
me, I really need to go back to XCOM 2 at some point. Now that it's all, I think it's all done content-wise, other than of course like the Long War 2 and stuff along those lines. Hopefully my computer can handle it now, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're definitely looking. Oh, geez, they already all the early bird digital editions have been claimed by now. But yeah, they got the full shebang. Oh my goodness, they have a $1,500 reward for the campaign.
$1,500?
You get to become. You create a key NPC in the game. You can model him or her after yourself. You get the art books, the statues, the posters,
What?
the whole shebang there.
Yeah, wow, that's
hmm
a little crazy.
Let's do that right now. Let's let's.
Yeah, let's get $1,500. I have that lying around, you know what
hmm
I mean? Like,
Uh, so they're going with like you can. They're also doing things with vehicles, which that sounds very interesting to have actual vehicle usage in an XCOM style game. They have the
uh-huh.
whole Geoscape is back. So yeah, I'm really got my fingers crossed that this will turn out well. And
Mm-hmm.
unless something tragic happens in the next 40 days and 22 hours, it's looking like it's going to get invested. So here's hoping that we get an amazing game, especially considering it's not 15,000. Wait, let me just double check that before I 1,500. There we go. Not 15,000, thankfully. If it
Oh,
was
okay.
15,000, that would be, they better do a lot more than just an NPC.
I was
But
about to say, like,
mhm.
yeah, I think you'd be getting a lot of stuff there for that price.
Mhm. But yeah, I'm really hoping this does well. I already sent an email to the developer asking him, please, I would like to talk to you for a podcast. So fingers
Oh
crossed
yeah,
that we can get those guys on because
yeah, definitely.
oh man, the things we can talk about with XCOM, that's going to be like a 3 hour cast. I can just feel it.
Hmm.
Let's see, other games that were released this week. I know of this game that I looked at on the site Riptail is now out on Steam. I sent in to get a press copy, so here's hoping we can do that. The next game from the studios behind Expedition Conquistadors is out. Expeditions
Hmm.
Viking.
Oh,
I
okay.
spoke to the developer, one of the developers, about this. I think that was like year one of the podcast.
Uh-huh.
So they seem like a bunch of great guys. They really want to make like a game built around again the Conquistadors era.
Huh.
So this
I
one,
don't think it's really ever been touched all that much either.
yeah. The next one's on Vikings. And question from chat: Riptail, I think it's actually just out now. I don't think it is in early access. I can double check that quickly. No, I think it's actually. Yep, it is actually out right now. Yeah, it just like kind of like dropped on us. And for those of you who were watching when we talked with about Asura, we put up I think our podcast we did. I think that was last week's cast. We put up the Asura one. They have
Uh-huh.
been updating that game like tremendously since it's been out. They've done some
Really?
major patching. They removed the ability for weapons to get burned, which was one of my biggest complaints. They've been trying to like smooth out the difficulty curve. I know that's been leading to some interesting discussions over on their forums. Again, we're going
Uh-huh.
just how hard should the game really be,
Hmm.
and that's always a very interesting debate. Because again, if you make the game too hard, it's going to have the challenge factor, but then you risk alienating people. But then if you make it too easy, then people are going to be like, I just beat this game in 5 minutes. Why should I keep
Uh-huh.
playing
Why
it?
should I? Yeah. Why should I play your game? Yeah. This is boring. Yeah. They're gonna get bored
Mm-hmm.
easily. Yep.
Yep. And it's never easy to get that balance right. And while we
Yeah.
were just saying that, a thought just popped into my head of one of the many podcasts I've scheduled that. Oh no, that's right. I was just remembering the game Regalia. I was telling you about that a few weeks ago, right? Regalia, that was like that strategy RPG game.
Yeah.
I just remember that I did that podcast sometime in March, and I need to get that posted too. Oh my goodness, we have.
Getting a backlog there, Josh.
Yeah, it's the never. Well, I guess it's not the worst problem to be had. We have so many
Ah, no, it's not at
podcasts.
all.
But yeah, we gotta get that one up. I gotta get the one about Dawn of War up tomorrow. We saw the one we did with Brian Cronin, I think, from we were talking about his tabletop game. That one
Hmm.
goes up. Oh, and next week the Sandy Peterson one that I did. Oh my goodness! Thank
Hmm.
goodness if I can just rest my voice at least for a few days.
Hmm.
But oh yeah, there's been more. I've been seeing more news about Injustice 2. I know they've announced more characters since we last spoke.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Well, yeah, yep. A lot of the characters are out, and it's actually shaping up to be pretty good. I definitely want to pre-order that, so I definitely would like to pre-order that
Hmm.
game. I'm a huge DC fan as it is, so even aside from video game stuff, I
Hmm.
definitely would like to own that.
Hmm. And have you decided on what version of the game you're going to get? The fancy, the
Oh
normal, or
yeah,
the
yeah, because
ultra
it's like,
fancy?
yeah, I don't know. I definitely, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go ultra fancy. Just get like basic stuff. But I think just I think I think it'll just have just the regular, the regular version. So, but yeah, yeah.
uh, Yeah, so yeah, and they also announced, of course, Street Fighter. Oh no, Marvel versus Capcom.
Capcom Infinite. Yeah,
Yeah.
Marvel's Capcom Infinite is the last one.
Any word about that, or have you looked into that one?
No, just look. I saw a couple of characters. They've released more characters out now for it,
Well, I'm just
so
gonna.
that'll be kind of interesting to see what how that competes on. I think they're looking to compete with DC's Injustice. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how the two. I've been seeing some like interesting discussions online, like from a few like hardcore fans about, like they're saying that they made some changes to Marvel versus Capcom's design.
yeah.
Eh, I
Yeah, it's now a 2v2. It's not a
mm,
3v3 anymore like it's always been. Well, no, that's the sorry, not how it's always been. The original
mm-hmm,
Marvel versus Capcom was a 2v2. So they're kind of going back to
mm,
roots there, so. Mm.
yeah. So I'm interested if they can get new people into it because I've talked about this before, but I tried like watching that professionally. So I had like no idea what was going on. Like all of a sudden I
Yeah.
see someone get knocked up in the air, and then like there's a 60 hit combo and the person's dead.
Hmm.
So it will be curious to see about it. And speaking about games like getting those kinds of changes, of course, it was announced Heroes of the Storm had its big
Yeah, actually,
2.0.
I wanted to talk about that. I actually tried it out. It is amazing. It is free to play, done right. I think I really hope that the people that tried it and maybe left or whatnot, give it another chance. Because if they do, they're not going to be disappointed. As
Hmm.
somebody who's kind of stuck with it since I won't say since launch, but definitely for I've been with it for quite a while now. It is worth it. They gave a bunch of stuff to the people that were already that had stayed on, and they definitely made sure that it's more okay. Before, how it was so much of a grind. It was
Hmm.
level up this guy 5 levels to get like 500 gold, which like in a game like that you need like thousands of gold to really do anything. And then you're like, so you're sitting here playing match after match, only getting like, even if you're playing one character at a time,
Hmm.
it's going to take you like a good 2 to 3 months of solid playing just to get your character up to like max level. And even then, you're only like, okay, I got some gold and some titles. Here, now, every 2 levels you level up your character, you're going to get a loot chest. And the loot, they basically went to the Overwatch system where the
Hmm.
loot chests are filled with like you can put banners down on the field as you're playing the game. When you conquer different towers, a banner will go up that you can customize. You can now win. You can now unlock mounts where before you only had to buy mounts and wait for special events. Like now you can get them in random chests. You can re-roll chests, which is
Hmm.
amazing, and that adds so much more to the
Interesting.
fact that like if you got a bunch of stuff that you don't even like and you're like, oh, I don't use this character, or when would I ever play that, you know what I mean, or when would I ever use this, you can re-roll that chest and maybe get something, and have another go, and you're most likely gonna get something. The chance of you getting something out of those now it does, you can use money, but it starts off at a low
Hmm.
amount of money first, and then as you want to keep re-rolling the same chest, it gradually increases how much money it costs. So, and not
Hmm.
real money, like that's in-game
In
money
game.
that you earn from playing the
Hmm.
game. So like it's rewarding people for playing their game, not punishing them not punishing them for making them do a long grind. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like it's yeah,
You're getting. You're always going to
yeah.
get something. You're
Yep,
never
you're
going to feel like you're.
all exactly.
Hmm.
They're doing free to play right for once, and
Hmm.
I give them I give Blizzard props where props are due,
Hmm.
because they definitely did their homework on free to play, and they're definitely doing Heroes of the Storm right now, and
Hmm.
I really hope that the community grows. I think it could use
That, yeah, that's always going to be. Oh, I just realized I kept the sound a little bit lower. There we go. I just made it louder. But
uh,
yeah, but yeah, that is definitely the big question there regarding getting that community. It goes back to what I was just talking about the other day regarding re-reviewing games. How
mhm.
much does a game need to change, or should it be changed to warrant a re-review? And like as you just said with Heroes of the Storm 2.0, this sounds very similar to Diablo 3 2.0. And it's kind of funny when we talk about Blizzard, like we've said this
Uh-huh.
before, Blizzard does not have failures. They just
They
don't have
they
like
have yeah, they have trial and error. I give them
yes.
that. They have trial and error. They're one of the few companies out there, and companies like
Hmm.
take note. These guys, they'll try something, then and like the free to play model, the original one was very popular, no, but it's also gimmicky and makes
Hmm.
people feel bad about playing your game. So they're like, you know what, we don't ever want to do that, and now they're making you feel they're rewarding you for playing the game. If you reward your players for playing your game, you're gonna build a fan base. And Blizzard's already like, hey, and the amazing thing is Blizzard doesn't even need to do that because they already have a fan base. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So them just doing all that stuff is kind of extra at this moment, but it's a beautiful extra. I think that they're definitely doing it right.
Hmm. And again, with this kind of change, I mean, as we've said, and I did on my Dissecting Design this week, Blizzard is one of the most analytical game companies in the market.
Yeah.
They will pick apart every little detail to figure out what's the best and what's the worst parts of it,
Yeah.
and then make those changes accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and like I would say with like Heroes of the Storm, that's the interesting part. That I guess for you, James, do you
Mm-hmm.
think that do you think there is a like a redemption arc in player? Do you think that this will, light the fires again for people to come back to Heroes of the Storm?
Okay. And that's funny, Josh, that you said the word think because not do I want that to happen because I definitely want it to
Hmm.
happen. I think growing a player base adds adds more longevity to the game, and it's a good game.
Hmm.
And this is coming from somebody who has played League for a long time, and I've re-downloaded League and been playing it, and League didn't get that memo.
Hmm.
They really didn't get that memo. They are still
Hmm.
they're still with the whole hey, keep playing this character and you might level it up and you might get something for it. And
Hmm.
we have loot chests too. Oh, cool. Do I get them automatically? No,
Yeah.
you only get them if you get an S rating with that character.
Oh
Oh,
God.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
So
got a sharp pain in my head when you said that.
yeah, and you should too.
Hmm.
So do I think it will? I'm going to go with the optimism side. Yes, I think Blizzard. I think Blizzard was going to pull more people to Heroes of the Storm. And to tell you the truth, I hate this is going to sound contradictory to what I was just talking about, but not necessarily because of the free to play changes that they made. I think they're going to get more Heroes of the Storm players
Hmm.
because they are building. They have a really robust Overwatch community, and
Hmm.
they're putting a lot more Overwatch characters in Heroes of the Storm. And now it's funny because this is actually I've been watching a lot of YouTubers. This is causing a little bit of contention among some YouTubers, especially Overwatch fans. They're putting skins because it's a MOBA. You can basically make the skin. I think the skin creation is easier. Now, I'm
Hmm.
not trying to put down anybody. I'm Blizzard employees. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the skin creation is a little bit easier on a MOBA than it is for
Like
a big yeah
oh, an Overwatch
on
or
Overwatch.
like yeah.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is there's more skins and better skins on for Overwatch characters on Heroes of the Storm than there are for Overwatch. Yeah. So like, and as a person who plays both, it's kind of interesting. Now I'm okay with it because I play both, so I get the best of both worlds. And I also I get a chance to get in on the cross promotion. But for those people who are only playing one or the other, you're
Hmm.
kind of in a win or lose situation
Exactly.
where if you only play Overwatch,
Hmm.
you're over here going, well, what the hell?
They
These
get
skins are
this
better.
stuff.
Yeah, they get this stuff, and it's way better. Like, what the heck? Um, and they can buy it. Now, that's actually one of the biggest differences in Hearthstone, or sorry, in Heroes of the Storm.
Hmm.
Um, you can buy skins. So if you like a skin for an Overwatch character,
Hmm.
you can just buy it. You can't do that on Overwatch.
Of course, you need to keep opening up
It's
those
all
loot
random.
chests.
Yep, it's all randomized,
Hmm.
RNG. So again, do I think people are gonna get better? Or do I think people are going to come? Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to be happy about it.
And then
It's
the
gonna be kind
other
of,
big question: are they going to stay? That's
yeah,
always the other big part. As we've said, retention is a huge part of free to play games. Doesn't
yeah,
matter if you have 10 million users one day and then you only have 1 million the next day.
yeah.
And and that's kind of the thing. I was talking with Josh over at PvP Live about this. We were talking about like Heroes of the Storm and
Uh-huh.
especially like Overwatch and kind of the challenges they've had in the esports market. We
Yeah,
talked about how Overwatch really has been having trouble becoming popular as a mainstream esport in terms of like watching it. Now with
yeah.
Heroes of the Storm, um, I guess for you, like, have you watched any like esports level coverage of Heroes of the Storm?
I've seen a few, not as much as League,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a couple of things. One, time. Two, content. Um, at three, and it's sad to say, the biggest thing for League that League has going for it over Heroes of the Storm is that um League has a consistent player not player gap a consistent stage.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're watching League, you are watching Summoner's Rift 5v5. It's this, the jungle doesn't change. The only thing that changes are the player are the
Like
characters.
a regular sport
Yeah,
again.
like a regular sport.
Mm-hmm.
In Heroes of the Storm, one of the things that makes it so much more engaging
Mm-hmm.
than League is also the thing that's keeping it back from esports, and that's the fact that there's multiple maps, multiple objectives, and it's not easily marketable to a lot of people because of that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, so do I think they're going to have a really good esports showing? Not really,
Mm-hmm.
because of that, and that's just more on the level of, because I just don't think they're gonna. It's gonna be harder for people to follow. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And until League uh, paves the way, I think it's always. I think whatchamacallit is always gonna struggle. I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, Heroes is gonna struggle. I honestly think I look at them as two sides to the same coin. They League is steadfast, and has been around for years. It's the trailblazer. It's the one that started it all. It's basically like, at this point,
Mm-hmm.
it's like your grandpa. You know what I mean? Grandpa's been in the family for years. We know what to expect from grandpa. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? He hasn't really changed. Doesn't know how to work a VCR, or doesn't really know how to work free to play properly. But he's the good old fashioned same old same old. While Heroes of the Storm is kind of like, oh man, it's into all the new stuff. It's doing free to play right, but it's kind of everywhere. It's really hard to
Mm-hmm.
follow because it's everywhere. Now, the funny thing is to say is something that I'd say Heroes of the Storm has over. Another thing that I think Heroes of the Storm has over um uh League of Legends is store well, not story, but depth of characters. Heroes of the Storm is dealing with a bunch of established universe characters that are coming together to play in an arena, versus Overwatch, versus League of Legends, where it's all the League of Legends characters kind of just in the League of Legends world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's in that essence, a lot more people know Blizzard characters than they know League characters. Not to say that that's not changing
Mm-hmm.
fast, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I think another thing that probably Blizzard again has going for, and we've talked about this, of course, is the Blizzard brand. That's
yeah,
always been Blizzard's has been one of Blizzard's just strongest aspects over the
yeah.
last decade, probably even more than that now with World of Warcraft. Like we.
Well, and with Overwatch,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like Overwatch, for being the new kid on the block, it's really made a big splash.
Oh yeah,
Like, and
definitely.
and purposely so. They marketed that way to
Mm-hmm.
make that kind of splash. So
Oh yeah, and again, like as we said, And like as we're no doubt seeing with Heroes of the Storm, I was just looking on their page for it. They have, of course, like community challenges for the next like 4 or 5 weeks, and
Yeah, yeah,
one of
yeah.
those goals just happens to be, I think, like 10 or 20 Overwatch loot boxes. So,
Well, okay, yeah, and that's okay. No, that's a reward
hmm
for completing the community challenge.
hmm
So, and this is one of the things that Blizzard is kind of not getting right just
hmm
yet. Is there right now there are rewards on Overwatch for playing Heroes of the Storm.
hmm
There's nothing in reverse. There's no rewards on Heroes of the Storm for playing Overwatch.
yeah,
They because and that's I think that's because it's too new. It's so new.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like
it's
if
not
there
established yet, basically.
it's not so established. Again, it's the new kid on the block.
hmm
There are rewards in World of Warcraft for playing Heroes of the Storm. There's rewards in Hearthstone for playing World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? And you know a Blizzard. That's a
hmm
Blizzard staple to kind of combine all
Oh
of
yeah.
their genres. You know what I mean? But because again, like I said, because it's so new, Overwatch is kind of in this weird area of, hey, we really want you to play Heroes of the Storm, but I know everybody's playing Overwatch, so we're going to try to combine the two, but only really focus on the
hmm
Heroes of the Storm players, you know what I mean? Or try to pool our audience.
They're right now trying to, I guess, siphon some of the Overwatch players to Heroes of the Storm, but
Yeah,
we're not seeing it
yeah.
go the other way, getting Heroes of the Storm
So,
players because they don't want to
yeah.
lose any Heroes of the Storm players.
Exactly. Well, they know their Overwatch brand. They know their Overwatch
hmm
people are set. Like they know Overwatch
Oh
is
yeah.
set. Like they know Overwatch is going to be around for a while. But it's hard making a splash in the MOBA market nowadays.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like I hate to like this is an old one. I don't know if any of you guys online know about this, but Infinite Crisis was a MOBA
hmm
done by DC.
Yep.
Now, if you don't know what DC is, I don't know what planet you're on because, even people in other
hmm
countries know the DC franchise. So, if DC struggled to have a MOBA, then,
hmm
Blizzard, it's Blizzard's doing pretty well
hmm
for what it is, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think even they recognize they need to do more marketing, and that's what they're going with. So, yep.
Yeah. And again, as we're talking right now, it just, I think, unrolled today. So we still have probably until the end of the event to see just what the numbers will be and if people are sticking around.
No, no, it enrolled the
Oh,
25th.
okay, so
25th,
we're
a couple
2 days
days ago.
late then, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days. Yep.
But yeah, and again, I think I will at least load it back up just to see what's going on. Maybe we'll make a video about it just to, do a welcome back to it and see what's happening. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see this because, as we said, Blizzard doesn't have any absolute failures. They've really managed to rebound Diablo 3. So it
Mm-hmm.
will be curious to see what happens with Heroes of the Storm going forward, and if we will start to see more of that connection. Because I'll bet you that if Heroes of the Storm blows up after this, they
Yeah.
will have those, play Heroes of the Storm to get a unique skin in Diablo 3 or a
Yeah,
unique
yeah.
thing in Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't
what they
doubt it.
want. They want that cross brand connection.
Mm-hmm.
And that speaking about that 2.0, I guess here's a question for you. Do you think we will see a Hearthstone 2.0 at some point?
Uh Hearthstone's pretty established
hmm
already. I don't think so because, like, I mean, I don't know, that's tough to say. Let's put it this way: Have we seen a Star like, and you'd know this better than I would?
hmm
Have we seen a StarCraft 2.0?
We've seen major patches done, but in terms of like what we've seen with Diablo and Heroes of Storm, that
Mm-hmm.
top to bottom,
Yeah, a complete
no.
rebranding. No, and we haven't really but we have seen a World of Warcraft 2.0.
hmm
And I would reckon to say that the oh my god, what was it called? Cataclysm.
hmm
Cataclysm was World of Warcraft 2.0. It really was. Remember, it reshaped everything. The world changed. Vanilla WoW, as we knew
hmm
it, was gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I honestly would say that was their 2.0 for World of Warcraft.
hmm And again, when it comes to Blizzard, they're always, analyzing their games to see just what exactly they can do to make them as appealing as possible. And again, they really do, I think, prescribe to that if it ain't broke, don't fix it model. That unless, if people leave Hearthstone by, the dozens, or I'm sorry, by the hundreds, then they'll make a change. But as
Yeah.
long as it's still doing good, like at this point, I think it's safe to say that we won't be hearing of Overwatch 2.0 for a very, very long time.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I think that the 2.0s really only come out when they're required, when they're losing people, when they're having trouble, like,
Hmm.
and rightfully so,
Yeah.
rightfully so. You know.
I guess here's another question for you. Speaking about like multiplayer games and them keep going with them, have you been doing any more with For Honor since we last spoke?
Yeah. I actually had a really interesting actually I did something really interesting before Honor. Uh, yeah, I sold it and
Mm.
I got Neo. So yeah, that For Honor where you're a Japanese, where you're an English guy or an Irish guy and you go
Hmm.
to Japan. Yeah, that For Honor, right?
Yes.
I just For Honor. Not only was it not my cup of tea, I was getting really upset with just the way they were handling things. I just the the one of the biggest basics of a game
Hmm.
is playing it with your friends. And while some of my friends are still on,
Hmm.
they're still complaining that it's hard to group with people. They keep getting booted. And that's because that's their peer to peer. They decided to go to peer to peer server and it messed a lot up. And when I saw that, and I'm like, well, if I'm struggling to play with my friends on that,
Hmm.
then I'm no, I'm not. It's not worth it. It really isn't. And every week it seemed like one of their biggest issues was, oh, this character is now overpowered. Guess we got to balance it next patch. Oh, this character is now overpowered. Guess we got to balance him next patch.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, even MOBAs don't have that much trouble. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like even MOBAs tend to
Hmm.
find a little bit of balance between their character
Hmm.
interaction, or rightfully over. Oh, like
Hmm.
yeah, I just. I kind now they are doing I've been keeping up with the news. They are
Hmm.
doing there's a new they are releasing a new character update. So everybody that has the base game will get the new
Hmm.
the at least I think it's the three new characters: the Centurion, the Shinobi, and the uh the Highlander So yeah, that's cool. I guess anybody that got the season pass will get all that early.
Hmm.
Anybody that didn't get the season pass will just have to wait for it to come out. So I was not happy with the way their business practices were going with that.
Yeah. And that's where I'll go. It doesn't sound like they solved the matchmaking problems, but they're still using peer to peer for its main connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sad.
Hmm.
That's really sad because
Hmm.
I think that game it was a good start for what could be done in
Hmm.
the future of fighting games. You know what I mean? I think maybe down the road it'll get better,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
uh,
again, you really, as we talked about, you really only get one chance to release a game, and if you blow it, you're
yeah,
kind of, you're
yeah.
down 10, and you have to work your way back up. In a sense, you're in the negative.
Yeah.
And I don't see Ubisoft doing a For Honor 2.0 on the same scale as Heroes of the Storm anytime soon.
Oh yeah. Well, at least not on the same scale as Heroes of the Storm. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely not.
Speaking of which, I've been hearing news that I think Activision may be getting close to buying Ubisoft. Let me
Oh
see.
really?
Because there's been some news this week. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah,
Hmm.
according to this, Vivendi, Universal, of course, the owners of Activision, they
Yeah.
currently own 25% of Ubisoft. And there's rumors that they're trying to get more of it and maybe take over Ubisoft by the end of the year.
Huh.
Hmm. That is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, that'll
Again,
definitely be something to watch.
yeah. I mean, Ubisoft is considered one of the bigger developers, obviously because they have their own digital platform. I wonder what that could mean for that, especially for like the PC side of things going forward. Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
but we'll have to wait to hear about that one. Let me check our time. Looks like we're about 50 minutes in. So let's see. Any other big news pieces to talk about? Uh, hmm. I guess to wrap up for tonight's chat, then, I guess for you, James, this is going to go with the industry insight I'm going to be posting after tonight's stream. What do you think about the ability for people to refund digital games? Do you think that is fair, or do you think that shouldn't be allowed?
Not yet. I don't think we're at that point yet where people can safely refund digital games. Um, just because it's so open. It's so, once you download it, like
Mm-hmm.
what's to say? Like I think it's just I don't think we're at the tech wise to be able to do that safely. I don't know, or at least I think that might be the big fear for why it hasn't been done yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so sad to say, yeah, I'm actually gonna have to agree with the developers. I don't think that we're there yet to be able to refund. Maybe like okay. I don't think you should be able to do it directly, but maybe through like maybe a percentage. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
download it, maybe you can get a percentage back, but not the. I wouldn't say the
Mm-hmm.
full price. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
And I think for me, I think I'm on the consumer side. That I do think
know.
there should be protection in place, especially with the explosion of new games coming out. That
Yeah.
they should offer some measure of protection for people to, if you download a game that either you can't play or it turns out to be a complete ripoff, some way to a some kind of standard or some kind of way of getting that back. Now, I know that you don't do too much with Steam, but on Steam, of course, they have the rebate option or the refund option. You can refund games you buy on Steam
Oh, really?
only if it's been less than 2 weeks from the purchase and you have played it no more than 2 hours. If you are under
Okay.
those two
Yeah.
stipulations, you can return the game, no questions asked.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I definitely agree. I would agree with that one
Mm-hmm.
because like I just see a lot of people taking advantage of that,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's funny, Josh, because especially doing the work here at Game Wisdom, I really do see the developer side of things where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, like we kind of made this game and you chose to buy it, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, and I know with the influx of games, like I'm gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
tons of people are making it out there, but I'd rather save it, for the people that make those good games, and there's people that just literally want to, take advantage of it. I think there are more people that would take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I do agree with like, hey, if you paid it for a little bit and you don't like it, not this. Oh, I played the game all the way through and
Yeah.
it was a
No.
crappy game.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, no, that no,
No,
come
if
on.
you spend like 100 hours with a game and then you say I want to refund it because I don't like it, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I can see not having a problem with, hey, yeah, I played this for a couple of bits
Mm-hmm.
and it's a bad game, or it wasn't what I thought it was going to
Mm-hmm.
be. Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, we're still very young when it comes to these kinds of
Huh?
rules and
Mm-hmm.
stipulations. So,
Yeah.
but I do think that these questions will have to be answered sooner than later at some point, especially if we want to see more standards when it comes to like how we operate in terms of buying and selling video games.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, here's one last little bit of news that we definitely have to bring up. Of course, it was announced. You know the game Night Trap, that infamous FMV game.
Uh-huh.
It's been announced they're going to re-release it for a modern console soon.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Hmm. The FMVs are coming back to us apparently.
Yeah.
Oh goodness! I asked on the stream the other night
Ah.
if they wanted if anyone would like to watch Night Trap, and everyone just said no. It's like no, we're not.
That's funny.
We could play some Sewer Shark maybe at some point.
Mhm. But yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, but as El Gordo is saying in chat, No Man's Sky, of course, being a part of that kind of what happens when a game there's issues with it or false advertising, and for a time, Steam basically just said we don't care. You can refund No Man's Sky. There was such an outcry against that game. They just lifted the restrictions. They don't care how long you play the game. You don't like it, refund it basically. And there
Well,
have been
after what they did, I
yeah,
don't blame them
yeah.
for that.
And there have been cases where Steam just drops the hammer on a developer, like with Arkham Knight for the PC. They basically took it off of Steam after too many people complained about technical issues.
Hmm.
So yeah, I do think there has to be protections in place because it's the only way for the consumer to feel safe in buying these games. And this is kind of the issue. This was the issue between digital and physical. Because if you don't like a physical game where it doesn't work, you take it back to the store, you get your money back. You do that
Yeah,
with a digital game, and you're kind of stuck with it, at least until the refund policy kicked in.
yeah, mm,
Eh,
yeah. But
mhm.
mm, yeah, I'm getting tired though.
Yeah, I know
I
we are
think
getting a
we'll
little
call it a
bit.
night.
Yeah, all right. I think this is about a good time to wrap it. We're just underneath the hour, and I got some general streaming and stuff to do tonight as well. So,
Mhm.
my throat is starting to kill me from allergies and talking. So yeah,
Mhm.
um, I think we'll wrap it up. So I guess to summarize, for those of you watching this either live or recorded, we now have bit access and all kinds of fancy features on Twitch. So be sure to step in or come join us on the Twitch stream. Like I said, I'll be doing another presentation next week. We're going to hopefully be getting some more a guest for live discussions soon. Fingers crossed on that. And if you are a developer who would like to come and talk to us, either live or recorded, definitely get in touch. But with that said, I'm going to be uploading the Industry Insight for today or finishing it up now. So that should be going up in about 10-15 minutes. I have a few games I want to stream tonight. Maybe a little bit more Gwent, maybe some Flint Hook. We'll see what happens. And otherwise, James, it was great hanging out with you tonight. Next week, hopefully, we'll be able to do that a little bit earlier so we're not just falling asleep at our keyboards.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so with that said, thank you so much for watching this week's Game Wisdom Live. Be sure to check out the Patreon campaign if you're interested in ways of supporting the channel, everything that we do. And be sure to check back daily for more discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. For the podcast this week, I'm going to be posting my interview with a composer on Dawn of War 3. We talked about the sound design that went into the game. And I may upload the Battle Brothers live to YouTube. We may be doing that in a few days as well. But if you're watching this live on Twitch right now, I'll be back in a little bit with some games tonight. But otherwise, we will see you all, I guess, next Thursday. So, with that said, have a great night. And I guess, James, do you have anything you want to say before we call it?
Not at all. Get on Heroes of the Storm and yeah, play Heroes of the Storm.
All right. All right, with that said, have a great night, and we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GW for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GW for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.